Welcome to the operating guide for Klemco Zero Brand 4-gallon tumble basket blast cabinet. This video is the third of a three-part series. It outlines how to operate the 4-gallon tumble basket blast cabinet, while videos 1 and 2 outline how to set up the cabinet and adjust its controls. This video covers blasting with the cabinet, completing the blasting operation. Note that this video is not a replacement for reading the 4-gallon tumble basket blast cabinet operations manual, which should be read in full by anyone who uses the cabinet. Failure to comply with the instructions in the operations manual can result in severe injury or even death. Blasting with the cabinet. Loading media. With the exhauster off, add clean, dry media by pouring it through the reclaimer door. Refill only after all media has been recovered from the cabinet. The approximate minimum media amount to load is 10 pounds, and the approximate capacity is 50 pounds, 0.5 cubic feet. Do not fill above the cone on the reclaimer. Do not pour media directly into the cabinet hopper, as overfilling may occur. Overfilling will result in media carryover to the dust collector and possible blockage in the conveying hose. Preparing to blast. Slowly open the air valve on the air supply hose to the cabinet. Plumbing designs vary. The compressed air valve may look different at your location. Check for air leaks on the initial startup and periodically thereafter. Make sure not to pulse unseasoned dust filter cartridges. Adjust the blast pressure pilot regulator to the required blast pressure. The regulator is located on the upper right side of the cabinet. Loading parts. Parts must be free of oil, water, grease, or other contaminants that will clump media or clog the filter cartridge. If parts are oily or greasy, degrease and dry them prior to blasting. Unlatch and open the front door and load parts directly into the tumble basket. Do not overload the basket. The maximum load should not exceed 35 pounds or rise above the bottom edge of the retainer. Also, do not underload the basket. Underloading will cause rapid wear to the tumble basket. To prevent the blast stream from blasting the basket when it has a small load, add filler material, such as an abrasive-resistant tumble media that is compatible with the parts being blasted. Close the door and securely latch it. Blasting. Inspect the alignment of the blast guns and adjust as required. Close the cabinet door and make sure it is securely latched. The cabinet door is equipped with a safety interlock system, which shuts off blasting if the door is accidentally opened or not securely latched. Make sure the pulse sequence timer is powered on. Remember that the cartridge must be seasoned before turning on the pulse pressure. Turn the toggle switch on the cabinet control panel to the on position, which starts the dust collector exhauster. Use the potentiometer to set the basket rotation speed at about 2 to 3 RPM. Adjust the rotation speed to increase or decrease blast time. Note that the basket will not start rotating until the operator sets the blast cycle's duration with the blast timer. Check media flow and adjust as required. Warning: shut down the cabinet immediately if dust discharges from the dust collector or cabinet. Completing the blasting operation. Checking and unloading parts. After a blasting cycle times out and stops, let the exhauster run for a short time to clear airborne dust. Open the door and examine the parts to check their blast coverage. Run the parts for an additional cycle if required. Trial and error will determine the optimum basket rotation and blast duration settings. Record the settings used on batches of different types of parts for use with future runs of similar parts. Unload processed parts through the door. Do not remove the basket when it is loaded with parts. The weight of the basket is approximately 35 pounds, and the maximum load capacity of the basket is 35 pounds, which totals approximately 70 pounds, plus the weight of any remaining media. This weight can shift and then pinch limbs or cause other injury. Unloading media. To empty the cabinet and reclaimer of media, run the exhauster without blasting for about a minute until all media is recovered from the cabinet. Turn off the exhauster and place an empty bucket or other suitable container under the metering valve. Unscrew the plastic plug from the metering valve, permitting media to flow into the bucket. Reinsert the plug after the reclaimer is empty of media. To purge the cabinet and media hoses, reinsert the plug and pull the media hoses off the metering valves. Turn on the exhauster and then switch on the timer for a couple of minutes, using the guns to blow off the basket and cabinet interior. Turn off the timer and exhauster. Remove the plug to empty the reclaimer, and then reattach the media hoses. To thoroughly remove spent media, use a vacuum to remove all media from the cabinet and reclaimer. This step is especially important when changing from coarse to fine media, or when changing from hard media to soft media. Shutting down. If you're finished blasting, Make sure the timer is set to 0, which is the off position. Turn off the toggle switch. Shut off the air supply valve, and then open the petcock to drain the pulse reservoir. Correct operation of Klemco's Zero brand 4-gallon tumble basket blast cabinet is necessary to protect blast operators and others in the vicinity of the cabinet from blasting and inhalation hazards that can cause severe injury or even death. The purpose of this video series is to familiarize viewers with how to set up and operate the 4-gallon tumble basket blast cabinet. However, this video is not a replacement for reading the cabinet's operations manual, which should be read in full by anyone who uses this machine.